Oh, hey! Before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to quickly mention that cart is closing today for the Refinish Your Future 4 weeks to a profitable furniture flipping side hustle course. So if you're listening when this first launches, you have until later today to register. I'm going to be bringing you through how to market, how to grow your side hustle, refinishing furniture, how to get in the right mindset for growth, how to find the right clients and keep them so that they keep coming back for more. I am teaching you everything that I have learned since starting my side hustle back in 2020, everything I wish I had done sooner, all of my lessons learned, accountability for you. We are starting on August 7th, running through the month of August, and at the end you get a 30-minute one-on-one session with me to go through any outstanding questions you have, and then you can go free into the world and see that money coming your way, having that time freedom of not running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to get everything together and make it all work. So I hope to see you in Refinish Your Future, the first course that I have launched. I'll see you there. Now let's get into the episode. What is up, my friends and fellow Busybees? Today is the first episode of a social media series that I thought would be interesting to bring to you. I've gotten some questions and some recommendations over time for podcast episodes that relate to different aspects of social media and growing social media and how to use it for your furniture refinishing side hustle and businesses. And I started my social media or my Instagram account before I even did a furniture makeover. I basically was doing like little DIY projects around the house and just wanted to not annoy my friends and family on my personal account, so I made my MelDidItHerself account separately, eventually found furniture makeovers, and the rest is history. So I wanted to today talk about some ways to utilize social media for your side hustle, where you sell your painted and refinished furniture pieces, and just kind of dive into some of the nitty-gritty of recommendations and things that I've learned over time immersing myself in this world. I kind of forget unfortunately, how much time I spend on social media and have over the last 3 years, because I've also gotten really intentional with learning the different platforms that I use, and I'll talk about this later, but I am active and actively maintaining Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, the podcast, and I was doing Twitter for a bit, but that kind of fell off, to be honest. Some weird things going on in the Twitter world. I just kind of I cut that one off for now. But 5 platforms. It's a lot. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot. But I have done research into most, if not all, of the platform strategies, best practices, etc. for how to grow and how to best utilize the features that they have and things like that. So over the next undefined number of episodes, I'm going to be coming to you with some different things that I've learned over time and things that I've found useful or not so useful. If you have any questions about anything in the world of social media, please feel free to reach out. You can send me a DM on Instagram or send an email. It's in the show notes of this episode, but it's mel@meldiditherself.ca, because I don't really know what you're interested in learning unless you reach out and let me know. So until then, I'm just guessing. So today we're going to talk about ways that you can utilize social media. And first, I wanted to talk about your purpose for having your social media account, because I've mentioned this in a previous episode, but I think in the furniture refinishing space, what I often see is people starting an Instagram page, which I did do, but I see a lot of people starting up their side hustles and they make an Instagram page, and that works out depending on your intention for that page. If it's just somewhere that you want to share your pieces and you can follow other accounts and you just like to post and it's something that you do for fun or in your spare time, go hard, you do you, boo-boo. But if it's something that you want to be using as a way to market your business and get potential clients in your local market to find you, there definitely is a really intentional approach and strategy that you'll need to have behind that growth and that marketing. Now, the other option is that you're maybe interested in having some influence over others, or being an educator and you want to grow a following regardless of geographically where those people are located, but just surrounding the love for furniture makeovers and furniture flipping, which is kind of the approach that I did with mine and which is generalized, and then now have since tried to tailor it more. Well, there was a point in time when I tried to make it more local, and then now I'm kind of working on finding people that want to start a side hustle refinishing furniture, but so that can evolve and ebb and flow as you go. But I do recommend choosing kind of your lane when you start out, because that's going to help you really to focus and be intentional with your time and your energy. And so you're not just doing what you see everybody else doing, because I think obviously that's kind of, as humans, what we tend to do. And the problem with that is the people that you're looking at and you're kind of copying or doing what they're doing because you think it's the right thing to do, they might be doing that to somebody too. And so we're just kind of all following each other, but nobody really has an informed strategy behind what they're doing, So if you're wanting to create influence and become a content creator and hopefully an influencer one day, you can do that and keep things more broad and just share more about yourself as a brand and not necessarily about your business specifically. So, that can mean you're sharing behind the scenes and you're sharing about your personal life and lifestyle content and your recommendations for products and things like that. And from that, you could add additional streams of income to your business, like affiliate income, sponsorships from brands and collaborations. Some people create merch or their own products, like maybe eventually creating a furniture paint brand or line of paint. There's different options for different streams of income that way. And if you're trying to build a local following, you're going to really try and focus in on targeting in a not predatory way, but targeting and reaching a client base and people that would be interested in your pieces and your work, and you can advertise your products and services too. And with a local following, you can also do collaborations with local businesses that would make sense to be affiliated with. Like, think about if there are other small businesses that have home decor or other eco-friendly products that would make sense in addition to your refinished pieces. What are things that people who buy this furniture would also be interested in spending their money on? Or what are their similar value systems and things like that? Those are the things that you can start to think about and help to tailor your strategy for finding those people. And use the words that they would use to speak to them directly and using language that would really resonate with them. So that's one of the ways that you can utilize social media for your side hustle, is finding local clients who are interested in things that you like and what you do. So there's some research that I came across, and granted it's from 2022, so a little bit dated now, but it's, I think, really insightful and probably hasn't changed a whole lot in terms of the overarching concepts. And so it's from Win Big Media, and it's called State of the Consumer 2022 Report. And it will be linked in the show notes of this episode if you're interested in reading through it a little bit more intentionally. But they basically found in this research that there are 3 types of consumers of products more broadly. There's the overwhelmed consumer, the influenced consumer, and the activist consumer. In this report, they talk about the different types of people and kind of their demographic makeup, the things that they invest their time and money in, their income levels, and what they're passionate about and what they spend their money on. And so this is really useful consumer data that we can be taking in and tailoring our marketing strategies based on this information. And I know all of this kind of sounds like a lot of work, and you might just be like, I just want to post my pieces on Marketplace and not have to deal with business stuff. And fair enough, but all I can say is that this stuff will help you to reach the right people with a lot less effort if you are getting into those markets that are really interested in your stuff, and then they'll be coming back for more. So you're going to have to do less effort advertising your pieces. You maybe will get more custom orders as a result. You'll have these people coming back, spreading the word about your business. So your pieces won't be sitting as long probably, and it will all benefit your side hustle in the long run. So something that I wanted to share from this report is the things that people are most likely to purchase based on their type of consumer. So the overwhelmed consumer is more likely to purchase products that are family friendly, fun and exciting, or innovative. They care less about whether the purchase is cost effective or practical. They're more focused on that innovation and the excitement of the products. And you might see yourself in one of these consumers as well. I know which one that I lean towards. The influenced consumer is more likely to purchase products that are time-saving, popular, and best-looking. They care less about whether the purchase is easy to use or luxurious. These consumers are often stopped in their tracks while scrolling, inspired to buy by an influencer's recommendations, so it's no surprise that they're tempted by the siren consumer calls of popular, attractive, and convenient products. And then the activist consumer is more likely to purchase products that are produced sustainably, that are innovative and energy efficient. They care about the world around them and they want their purchases to do the same. So from those three categories, I'm sure you can guess which type of consumer would be most interested in purchasing your upcycled furniture. So this is a client profile and consumer profile that you may be interested in exploring further and finding out, where are they hanging out? What is the type of value system that these people have? What are things that indicate that something is produced sustainably or is innovative to them? Where are they showing up on social media? Are they using the platforms that you are on for your business? Are they searching on the places that you're listing your pieces for sale, or do they use other things? This is all really useful information that you can look into, and it will help, like I say, to save you time and energy in the long run to market your business. And then if you're trying to find other local clients that are interested in you and your products and your services, another thing I recommend is using location-specific functionalities within the social media platform that you're using. So can you tag your location in the settings so people who are nearby will be shown your posts? Are there location-specific hashtags you can utilize in your posts that people might be searching, like your location, small business, or furniture refinishing your location, things like that are going to help to find people who are searching for your services to encounter you and your content. Another way you can utilize social media is to network with other local businesses. Crazy thing about social media that we often don't do or forget to do or don't have the time to do is to be social. Ironic, isn't it? But if you're being social on social media and you follow other creators and businesses and influencers and business owners and you engage with their content and they're people that have similar interests to you and are maybe in similar niches locally to you, number one, you might make a new friend, so that's always nice. Hard to make friends as adults. But also, you can create collaborations down the road. Maybe there's a giveaway that you can host with those people. Maybe you can trade off advertising each other's services to your local networks and your following. And another thing you can do is network with other local furniture refinishers. I did a podcast episode, I don't have it written down off the top of my head, but it was one of the early ones, I want to say episode number 10, called Community Over Competition, where I talk about and have some clips from other local refinishers in my community that I reached out to, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing that you're also doing in this area. Do you want to start up a group and we can just chat about it and get to know each other? And that group has, definitely over 25 people in it now. And it was such a useful place for us to commiserate, to share local tips, to send referrals to each other, to ask questions, to get motivated, to celebrate each other's successes. It's called Community Over Competition for a reason, because it really was and is a community of people rather than a group of competitors that are trying to undersell each other and fight for business. There's more than enough people in this city for us to be able to paint dressers for. You know what I mean? You don't need to have that scarcity mindset. Find people who you can connect with in that way, and it's such a nice support system to have of people who really understand what you're going through. And again, you might make a friend from it. There's people that I would totally hang out with and go thrifting and grab a drink with or grab a coffee that I've met in this group. So it has been a great experience that I highly recommend you look into pursuing if you're looking for that connection. Another way that you can utilize social media for your side hustle of painted and refinished furniture is expand your reach by being on different platforms to pick up new people into your world. So I mentioned this earlier, I'm on a lot of platforms now, but I did not start on that many platforms. When I first started out, I was just on Instagram for, a little while. I started TikTok probably in 2020 sometime, but I wasn't really actively using it all that much. Maybe in like 2021, I think I started using it a lot more. And then eventually I started repurposing my content onto YouTube, and I created some tutorials on YouTube of like things that were longer versions that didn't end up on those other platforms. And then I started learning more about Pinterest and what a great search engine that is. And so I just repurposed my content over there. I'm not making new things for each platform. I'm just creating stuff on one. And I now have a workflow of when I create things on one platform, if it meets this criteria, it goes there. If it meets that criteria, it goes there. And it just takes away any thought process that I need to have when I'm creating a piece of content, which is amazing. Like I say all the time, it's important to set up those systems. And another quick plug that in Refinish Your Future, I'm going to be teaching you those systems, but hurry now because Kurt closes today. And so my recommendation when it comes to these social media platforms is to start with just one or maybe two that you can really lean into. Choose ones that the people you're trying to reach are on. Ideally, there'll be platforms that you already use and know and enjoy because you want to enjoy what you're doing because it's a lot of work, depending how consistent you want to be on there. It takes a lot of time and energy. So having it be something that you enjoy is ideal. And then get really good with those platforms and get consistent and get workflows and figure out your strategy. Optimize that strategy so that your posting goes the furthest that it can and you get into a good rhythm and schedule before you expand and add on other platforms, because if not, you'll just inevitably get burnt out and feel like you're endlessly creating and posting and producing and nothing's really coming from it. If you do too much too quick, you will just inevitably get burnt out and you'll be spending all your time posting on social media, which probably won't be directly tied to making money compared to the actual refinishing of the furniture results in money. So be wary of how much time you're focusing on that as well. And then, like I said, create systems so that you can expand and use existing content that you have that's tailored to that platform. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. You probably have a ton of content or a ton of previous footage that you could reuse to create new content. But by expanding to those other platforms, we're able to reach new audiences because if you think about it, there's probably only one or maybe two platforms that you regularly go to and spend your time on. It might be Facebook, it might be Instagram, it might be TikTok, it might be YouTube. Depends on your demographic and the type of content, whether it's short form or long form that you prefer. Maybe you're just a podcast person. But because we kind of have those go-to things, if you've only been on one platform, there's a huge community of people who are interested in what you do that are sitting on those other platforms that you could tap into if you expand and explore those other platforms over time. And the last way that you can utilize social media in your furniture upcycling business is by demonstrating your products and the skills and services that you offer on there for people who are interested in purchasing and looking for those things. That requires you to optimize the platforms that you are utilizing. And again, I see a lot of people not doing this because they're kind of just copying what other people are doing. And if you are a service or product-based business and you are mimicking what you're doing off of someone who's trying to be a content creator or an influencer, you probably are not optimizing things in the best way possible. My recommendation is to put yourself in a client's shoes. Think, I'm someone who is looking for a refinished piece of furniture in my area. What would I do to try and find that person? Maybe I go to Instagram and I search Refinish Furniture Ottawa. Who pops up? Oh, your profile pops up. Okay, click into it. Now, if I'm the client, what information am I seeing? Do I see a way that I can get in touch with you? Do I see your location so that I know that you actually are in my city? Do I see a website or a portfolio where I can go and look at your work? Do I see something about where you post your pieces for sale? Or do you have a highlight showing what's currently for sale? Do Do you have something that highlights how to work with you? If you offer custom refinishing services, is that highlighted on your feed? At any given time, if somebody is coming to your profile, is this information readily available, or does it just look like a pretty curated feed of your work that you've done, but somebody would look at it and just be like, oh, this is a pretty account to follow, but I don't know that they're an actual business that I could purchase from. Another thing I recommend is utilizing reviews and testimonials and encouraging them from your clients, because especially if you're in a big city and there's a lot of people doing the work that you're doing, as much as they are your community, in the client's eyes, that is, I won't say competition, but they're businesses that they could choose to invest their money in, and you want to encourage them and show them that you are the one that they should be choosing. So have you had really great feedback from clients that you've worked with, that you sold a piece to, or that you've worked on a custom project with in the past that you can screenshot and put up as a post or put in your story and then save it as a highlight? You can also include those on your website or in your portfolio. Just having that social proof from somebody else is something that will encourage other people to choose you and explore you as an option. You know, if I'm ever going to be making a purchasing decision for a service, I'm always looking for recommendations, preferably from people that I know, because then I know what their level of expectations are. But if not, like when I go on Amazon, I'm reading through every review, and I'm probably only clicking on products that have a lot of reviews too. So just think about those purchasing habits that your potential clients may be going through, and think of ways that you can mitigate those or address them ahead of time so that your platforms and your profiles are set up optimally to be able to get those customers coming your way and making inquiries and buying your pieces. And something you may not know about me, I love little motivational messages. They always get me fired up, and I keep a running list of ones that are especially catchy or speak to me in the Notes app on my phone. So I end every podcast episode with one that I've noted down over the years, in hopes that you leave our time here each week feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to take on whatever comes your way this week. So this week's Mel's motivational message is: consistency breeds confidence. And I thought this was so perfect for today's episode, because when it comes to social media, I'll be the first to admit it is so hard and awkward to show up on there in the first place. Now when you go to my feed, my face is all over it. I'm talking to the camera. I'm giving you insight into my day-to-day life and my dog and what I'm eating, but that's not how it started. So if you feel awkward showing up on social media, just know that everybody starts there, but that consistency really does breed that confidence, because number one, you start putting yourself out there in different ways, and all of these things that people are going to do or say or laugh at you or whatever fear you have in your head doesn't happen. And so you're like, oh, that wasn't as horrible as I thought it was going to be. And then that kind of like boosts your confidence a little bit, so you feel okay showing up again. And then eventually you just get that repeated exposure, and it feels much more natural and normal to show up in whatever way feels most comfortable for you. I started out just taking photos and putting text on the screen in my stories. And then eventually I would take videos and put text on the screen. And then eventually I started talking in the videos from behind the camera. And then I would show the occasional picture of my face with text on screen. And then eventually I would talk to the camera and have my face on screen. Like, it just slowly, incrementally progressed as I got more comfortable. And I'm not gonna lie, the less following you have in the beginning, the better it is to be doing those things, because it might just be more people you know or just random strangers, but it's not that many people, so you really can experiment and get used to things without the, I don't know what the word is, the pressure of knowing that so many people are watching you and that kind of thing, if that makes sense. So I know we always want to obviously grow so fast, and we want our accounts to blow up, and we want to create that reel that's going to go viral and we'll get 1 million followers overnight. But as someone who had that slow but steady growth and had been able to maintain consistently posting and things like that, and just figuring things out and learning the platforms and creating those relationships with people that have been following me for around 3 years now, I would much prefer that over any other crazy overnight growth. I've seen that happen to people and then they disappear after a couple months because it's probably pretty fucking intense to have like 100,000 people all of a sudden be hanging on your every word and staring at your face and listening to your advice and critiquing the things you do and say. You know, the proportion of trolls goes up the more people that are following you and all that fun stuff that comes with social media and the internet, inevitably. But that consistency will breed that confidence. You'll have that self-confidence behind you to know that you are showing up in the right ways. You are confident in what you're saying. So then those occasional things that may or may not ever pop up that are a little bit negative don't kind of hit you in the same way that they may have on day one. So consistency breeds confidence. Focus on ways that you can get consistent on social media and beyond. And if you haven't already, I recommend you give social media a try to market your furniture refinishing business. All right, that's it for now. I appreciate your time and I will catch you guys next week.